The palace defends President Bongbong Marcos for making no mention of online gambling in his fourth State of the Nation address. In a briefing on Friday, August 1, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says it's better not to rush into things as the issue needs to be thoroughly studied. According to Castro, the root of the problem must first be determined.
Maganda po kasi, huwag tayo masyadong magpadalos-dalos. Minsan kasi nakikita natin ano ba yung sinisigaw ng taong bayan, pero yung iba, hindi pa po inaaral na mabuti kung ano ba yung magiging epekto nito sa bayan. Dapat muna po malaman natin saan ba nanggagaling yung kamalian. Doon ba sa license, online gambling app, o doon sa mga hindi lisensyado? So dapat malaman natin saan ba nagugumon ang ating mga kababayan sa sugal. Doon ba sa mga illegal na gambling app?
Several lawmakers as well as the Catholic Church are pushing for the government to totally prohibit online gambling in the country. They said the social ills it can bring to addicted Filipinos far outweigh its supposed benefits. The Senate is set to launch a probe into the proliferation of online gambling in the country. Senator Mig Zubiri earlier filed a bill seeking an outright ban on online gambling in the Philippines. He called it a silent epidemic that is quietly harming Filipinos, especially minors and the most vulnerable. Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission Executive Director Gilberto Cruz has expressed support for a total ban, saying online gambling ruins the lives of many families. The Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation previously gave assurance that the agency and its licensees are actively promoting responsible gaming. The Office of Asian and Pacific Affairs says President Bongbong Marcos is eyeing the expansion of Philippines and India's maritime cooperation in his upcoming state visit next week. Marcos is scheduled for an official state visit to New Delhi from August 4 to 6 and Bangalore from August 7 to 8. State visit is upon the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In a palace briefing on Friday, August 1, Assistant Secretary Evangeline Jimenez Docro says the country looks forward to deepening its relationship with India.
Part of our ongoing relationship with India is in maritime cooperation activities. So we look forward to expanding these, deepening our relationships and expanding our areas of cooperation.
6 agreements in cooperation in law, culture, science and technology, and others are also expected to be signed during Marcos's visit. Meanwhile, the Armed Forces of the Philippines says the Philippine Navy and Indian Navy will hold its first ever joint maritime cooperative activity in the West Philippine Sea. A report from an Indian network says Manila and New Delhi will conduct the activity between August 4 and 8, the same dates of Marcos's state visit. The Philippines and India are celebrating the 75th anniversary of the establishment of their diplomatic relations in 2025. Although he thinks the current leadership of the Senate is stable, Senate President Pro Tempore Jingo Estrada is not ruling out the possibility that anything can still happen. Estrada remarks how the Senate leadership can even be removed as soon as the next day. Estrada cites as a comparison the time Senator Mig Zubiri lost the Senate presidency in May 2024. He points out that Zubiri lost the position even with 22 in the majority and only 2 opposition members. The 2 opposition members were Senator Risa Ontiveros and former Minority Leader Coco Pimentel. Senator Chis Escudero then replaced Zubiri, who said he stepped down after failing to follow instructions from the powers that be. Escudero was re-elected Senate President on Monday, July 28, when the first regular session of the 20th Congress opened. 19 of 24 senators backed Escudero, including Minority Leader Tito Soto. Only 5 senators voted for Soto as Senate Chief, namely Escudero, Zubiri, Hontiveros, and Senators Loren Legarda and Ping Lacson. Soto, Zubiri, Legarda, Lacson, and Hontiveros currently make up the minority bloc. According to Estrada, what the present leadership can do now is to do its job, be more productive, and work on administration's priority legislation. In terms of dealing with the minority group, Estrada thinks Soto will not be a headache when it comes to plenary debates. He notes how one can't take it against the minority to keep asking questions, saying it was their job. Faculty members of the University of the Philippines College of Law sound the alarm over the Supreme Court's nullification of the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. In a statement on Friday, August 1, UP Law faculty members say the development undermined and weakened the impeachment proceedings. They say the impeachment proceedings should have been an indispensable instrument of political accountability for the country's public officials. The educators acknowledge the fears of a constitutional crisis that have arisen among the public. Citing the Constitution, They say the House of Representatives has the exclusive power to initiate impeachment, while the Senate has the sole power to try and decide the cases. According to the faculty members, they share the view that the over-judicialization of the process will permanently change impeachment's nature. They also emphasize that while judicial review exists, it is constitutionally available only when there is grave abuse. The educators believe Congress simply relied on the rule set by the court in Francisco versus House of Representatives and Gutierrez versus Committee on Justice. They state that initiation by the House consists of the filing of a complaint and its referral to the proper committee. The educators then recall how the court in past impeachments intervened cautiously with the processes to avoid not only preempting Congress but also influencing the only process of political accountability for its own members. Faculty members stress that the Supreme Court's ruling on Duterte's case has consequences that the parties themselves may not have anticipated. They add that the Supreme Court ruling creates an incentive for the filing of sham complaints to trigger the one-year bar rule. The educators remind the public that, as academics, their only client is the truth. With this, they express hope that democratic institutions will allow the people to eventually find their way towards restoring accountability. The Supreme Court earlier declared that the impeachment against Duterte is considered unconstitutional. According to the High Court, the case violated both the one-year ban on filing impeachment complaints and the right to due process. The Department of the Interior and Local Government is proposing a ban on street parking in Metro Manila from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. in a bid to ease traffic congestion. The DILG held a joint meeting with the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority and the Metro Manila Council on Friday, August 1. The agencies resolved to create a technical working group to identify which roads will be covered by the ban. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla says they will finalize everything by September 1. MMDA Chairperson Don Artes is suggesting a parking ban on all public streets from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., similar to how the agency implements its expanded number coding scheme. Metro Manila Council President Francis Zamora says each local government unit will be represented in the technical working group. He says the group will study the rules to enforce on roads regarding parking and its schedule. Both Remulla and Zamora emphasized the need to first form a technical working group, citing different situations applied to each of Metro Manila's 17 LGUs. Remulla notes there is a consensus among the mayors to take action and make Metro Manila more livable. Zamora also clarifies that the Mabuhay lanes will still be enforced. Mabuhay lanes are a network of roads that connect the northern and southern parts of Metro Manila, providing an alternative route for motorists aside from EDSA. The MMDA manages these lanes by clearing obstructions and flagging illegal parking.